The scene opens with a psychologist named Flores in Spain at dawn. As Flores heads to the office in Avecot, an incident delays his journey. Due to this incident, Flores is assigned a task early in the morning. Upon arriving at his office, several police officers are already waiting for him. Flores is asked to interview a detective named Vogel, who was involved in an incident that resulted in a man's death. The police are suspicious because Vogel's clothes have bloodstains on them. Flores then asks Vogel to explain everything from the beginning. Sometime before, the town of Avecot was shaken by the disappearance of a girl. This case caught Vogel's attention while he was having lunch. As he pondered where to start, he briefly chatted with the owner of a local diner. The owner prayed that Vogel would be able to help the girl's family. Vogel then examined the only road in Avecot, assisted by his partner, Borgi. He wrote his first notes on the case and then visited Anna's family to gather more information. Anna Lou, a 16-year-old girl, was deeply religious. Since childhood, she had regularly attended church gatherings in Avecot. She had no enemies and had only gotten a mobile phone a year ago. Anna enjoyed making bracelets and loved cats, but her parents never allowed her to have one due to her allergy to cat fur. An interesting fact about Anna's phone was that it contained only 6 saved contacts: her mother, father, home phone, grandmother's home, church group, and her best friend. Before Vogel left, Anna's mother mentioned that there was a church gathering that night, and she would pray that Vogel and his team would find Anna. She also gave Vogel a bracelet, the last one Anna made before she disappeared, placing great hope in him. As Vogel stepped outside, he intentionally clapped his hands repeatedly, drawing the attention of Anna's neighbors, who eventually came out, annoyed by the noise. The meaning behind this gesture was unclear, but Vogel eventually stopped and returned to his car, while Borgi seemed unfazed by his actions. Later, Vogel held a meeting with the police. The chief, Meyer, was ready to hear his instructions. On the night of December 23rd, Anna left for the church gathering, but never arrived. She was not the type to run away, and her phone was turned off just 7 minutes after she left home. None of the neighbors saw or heard anything when she left. Vogel concluded that the abductor was familiar with the neighborhood's routines and knew the right time to act. Unfortunately, there were no CCTV cameras along the road or in any of the residences in Avecot. When night fell, Anna's parents were asked to explain the chronology of her disappearance. Their explanation was accompanied by whispered prayers from the church congregation. Vogel and Borgi intentionally recorded this moment as a symbolic beginning of Anna Lou's case investigation. Everyone hoped for answers, and prayers flowed for Anna's safe return. Time passed, and the prayer session finally ended as the sun rose. On the second day of the investigation, Vogel ordered Borgi to distribute protective gear (PPE) to the police, enabling them to join the search. The search efforts were broadcast on national television, and information from various sources was absorbed by the investigative team. The search continued non-stop for 24 hours. Meanwhile, Anna's father had been waiting to meet Vogel. He wanted to give Vogel something, Anna's diary, which contained a photo of her with her best friend, Priscilla. Anna's father confessed that he once playfully contacted Priscilla because he had a crush on her, but he quickly regretted his actions. Vogel chose not to dwell on the matter and told him to go home. Later, Vogel deliberately met with a senior journalist named Honor and handed over Anna's diary, hoping that publicizing it would draw more attention to the case. The more people followed the case, the broader the reach, increasing the chances of identifying the perpetrator. That same night, a live broadcast aired, capturing the solidarity of Avecot's residents in response to Anna Lou's disappearance. Many candles were lit, and cat plush toys were displayed in her honor. Vogel attended the gathering, as did Meyer, who oversaw the event. Anna's parents expressed their deep gratitude for the community's support, unable to say anything but thank you. They also asked for continued prayers so that their 16-year-old daughter could return home safely. The event proceeded smoothly until the closing remarks, when something suspicious caught Vogel's attention. A man engrossed in his camera, taking endless photographs of everything in sight. Eventually, the man moved closer to the candle memorial. Vogel was soon alerted as Meyer observed the man picking up one of the cat plush toys. Meyer immediately requested permission to detain him, but Vogel refused. Vogel explained that a true perpetrator wouldn't dare approach the scene of execution. Instead, the real culprit would try to remain unnoticed and move as little as possible. Based on this reasoning, the man was ultimately not taken into custody.
Che cazzo è questo per lei? Una specie di spettacolo, eh?
Nessun urlo. Annalù non ha urlato mentre la portavano via. Rimani qualche istante per attirare l'attenzione. Abbiamo bisogno di un colpevole.
As night approached, Vogel suddenly received a call from Borghi. Borghi had obtained the name of the man with the camera. His name was Mattia. Along with his team, Borghi also secured Mattia's address. With this information, Vogel decided to visit Mattia's house alone. He had a reason. The police had managed to duplicate Mattia's house key. That same night, Vogel hurried to Mattia's house, arriving alone with a flashlight and the duplicate key. In the basement, he found the cat plush toy Mattia had taken, and right beside it was a laptop with a wallpaper featuring Anna's photo. This discovery deepened Vogel's suspicions about Mattia. Vogel's attention was drawn to a video file which could serve as new evidence gathered through strict surveillance. Just as he was about to check it, Mattia suddenly appeared behind him, recording the scene. He deliberately showed his face, as if to prove he wasn't afraid. Mattia had a habit of secretly filming Anna whenever he could. However, one particular detail caught Vogel's attention: a white car that appeared in every one of Mattia's recordings, always present whenever Anna was filmed. The scene then shifts to a teacher named Martini, a well-known and highly skilled professor. Mattia had once been one of his students. At one point, Priscilla, Anna's close friend, approached Martini, asking him to teach her how to act. It turned out that in just a few days, Priscilla was scheduled for an interview about Anna's disappearance. That night, after their session, Martini's wife also became aware of the situation. On the other hand, Martini had a teenage daughter who wasn't particularly obedient. The search for Anna continued, with the local residents voluntarily participating. The forests were combed thoroughly, but no significant leads were found. One night, Martini and his wife were on their way home. Before reaching their house, Martini mentioned that he needed to stop for gas. His wife had no problem waiting for a moment. While paying for the gas, Martini's attention was suddenly drawn to a news report on the station's TV. The broadcast showed that a white Jeep was under police suspicion and was currently being hunted. The cashier at the gas station quickly turned to look at Martini's vehicle. Realizing the situation, Martini immediately rushed out and drove away without a word. The cashier, without hesitation, declared that Martini was the culprit. Back at home, Martini's daughter panicked after seeing the news on TV. Martini himself kept glancing nervously at the road. His wife, confused by his behavior, urged him to clarify things immediately. At that moment, Martini called the police station, and Borghi answered. Borghi explained that the news report was an accidental leak of the investigation. However, what Martini didn't know was that the leak was actually intentional. Vogel and his team had deliberately spread the news. Vogel wanted to provoke a reaction from the real owner of the white Jeep and observe how they responded. Long before the cashier even realized it, Vogel had already figured out who the true owner of the white Jeep was. At the same time, Martini's wife began to grow suspicious after noticing a wound on Martini's hand. However, before they could discuss it further, flashes of cameras suddenly lit up outside their house. A crowd of journalists had gathered, eager to report on the scandal. From that night on, the Martini family would be relentlessly pursued by the media. The next morning, a man offered to help Martini. To avoid the journalists, Martini had to sneak in and out of his house before finally managing to get into the man's car. The man turned out to be a lawyer named Levi, who was interested in defending Martini. Levi explained that, at this point, the whole world already saw Martini as the culprit. There was no way for him to escape, and his only option was to go to trial. Martini protested, insisting on his innocence. However, Levi countered, pointing out that every news report kept highlighting Martini's car near Anna's last known locations, further cementing public belief that he was guilty. Levi gave Martini time to consider his legal services, and handed him a special phone to keep their conversations private. With limited finances, Martini discussed the matter with his wife. Before they could reach a decision, Borghi and a team of medical personnel arrived at their home. The police had requested a DNA sample from Martini, and his white Jeep was also taken in for examination. By the next morning, the forensic results were ready. There was no trace of Anna Lou's blood in the vehicle. However, investigators did find cat fur, a strange discovery since Martini didn't own a cat. Unfortunately, this evidence alone wasn't strong enough to convince everyone. Later, while heading to the police station, Vogel happened to see Anna's mother. The grief-stricken woman could not move past December 23rd, the day her daughter disappeared. The overwhelming stress had taken its toll on her. Shortly after, Vogel received an anonymous message on his phone claiming that Martini was innocent. Meanwhile, Martini and his wife agreed to hire Levi. Levi then explained the silver lining of the situation. Due to the lack of solid evidence from Vogel's investigation, Martini would still go to prison. However, if he was ultimately proven innocent, he could receive a large compensation for wrongful imprisonment. Martini accepted this as a necessary trade-off. That night, Vogel arranged a short meeting with Martini to show him something. The latest information revealed that the cat fur found in the Jeep was a match to an orange cat frequently seen in front of Anna's house, according to neighbors. Vogel asserted that if they could find that specific cat, Martini would automatically become the prime suspect. As Vogel was about to leave, Martini suddenly turned back and warned him that everything Vogel was doing was a waste of time. With that final remark, Martini finally walked away. The next day, Vogel and Borghi were summoned by the search team. There was a new discovery that could be the next major breakthrough. At the same time, Martini was busy shaving off his beard completely, while Vogel and Borghi were led to the latest evidence, Anna Lou's pink bag. From that moment, this bag would expand the scope of the investigation. Elsewhere, Priscilla stood in front of her class, while Mattia kept his eyes forward. The entire classroom fell silent, staring at the new appearance of Martini. Now clean-shaven, he looked like a completely different person. Quietly, Vogel was also present in the class. Standing before his students, Martini gave a message. Crimes don't always happen out of revenge. More often they happen because of money. Immediately after, Vogel spoke up, saying that time kept moving forward. He admitted that Martini's words were good, but not as good as Martini's future would be. For Vogel, it was only a matter of time before he put Martini behind bars. Shortly after, Vogel received another anonymous message. Not long after, the anonymous number called him directly. The caller turned out to be Beatrice, a senior journalist. She asked Vogel to search for the Fogman online. Curious, Vogel grabbed a laptop in his hotel room and typed in the keyword. The search results revealed a case from 30 years ago, a girl named Katja Hillman, whose disappearance was never solved. Intrigued, Vogel requested Beatrice's address to meet in person. During their meeting, Beatrice explained that Anna's case was identical to the disappearances of 5 other girls from 20 to 30 years ago. According to Beatrice, all these cases were the work of a single perpetrator, the Fogman. However, most people dismissed Beatrice as crazy for her theory. She had noticed a striking pattern. Each of the 5 kidnapped girls had red hair and freckles. There was no denying it. Anna Lou fit that description perfectly. The information from Beatrice completely shifted Vogel's perspective, but there was more. Beatrice revealed that she had received a package which was addressed to Vogel. She had opened it beforehand and told Vogel to prepare himself. Inside was Anna's second diary, something no one, not even her parents, knew existed. Anna had deliberately hidden this diary. Vogel forcibly flipped through the pages, trying to uncover its secrets. The sender of the package remained a mystery, but inside the diary, Anna had written the name Oliver, the boy she had a crush on. She had even carved the initial O onto her left wrist, but that wasn't the only revelation. As Vogel continued flipping through, he found something else: photographs. The images pointed toward a location that had already been searched before, a gravesite in the woods of Avicot. Vogel immediately went to the site, carefully scanning his surroundings to ensure no one was watching. He began digging at the spot marked in the photos. After uncovering a few layers of dirt, Vogel found a black plastic-wrapped package. He checked his surroundings once more to make sure it was safe before opening it. Inside, he discovered a cassette tape. Vogel immediately headed to the office to play the cassette tape. Without informing Borghi, he chose to watch it alone. In the first few seconds, the footage showed a man inside a hotel bathroom. At first, Vogel struggled to identify the hotel's location, but then the perpetrator deliberately revealed an image of the hotel he had used. Without hesitation, Vogel decided to go there immediately. The hotel in question was the Grand Hotel, an abandoned building that had been shut down by the government. Seeing that the area was deserted, Vogel intended to go inside. Among the many rooms, only one was accessible. Inside, the bed was visibly stained and dirty. The scene then flashed forward to the present, where Vogel was speaking with Flores. Curious, Vogel asked why Flores had so many fish decorations in his office. Flores replied that he didn't like all fish, only certain ones he wanted to catch. He shared that the last time he went fishing was in his youth, and he had promised never to collect fish decorations again. During his last fishing trip, he faced a health issue. If he exerted himself too much, he would suffer a heart attack. That complication made his final fishing experience far from smooth. That was Flores's answer to Vogel's question. Shortly after, Martini was officially declared innocent and released from prison. His acquittal meant he would soon receive a massive compensation payout, a piece of fantastic news for Martini, but a devastating blow for Vogel and his team, who felt they had failed to gather enough evidence to convince the judges. However, following this outcome, the police reopened the case from 30 years ago. The revival of the old investigation led to Vogel being invited onto a TV show hosted by Honor. Vogel was informed that he would share the stage with Martini, who would simply be asked for his thoughts on the old case during the live broadcast. As Vogel stepped onto the stage, he glanced at Martini. The broadcast signal turned on, and that was when Vogel noticed a crucial detail, something he had overlooked before. On Martini's wrist was a marking, the initial O, which Anna had carved onto her own wrist, believing it to represent Oliver. At that moment, Vogel realized he had been completely outmaneuvered by Martini. In his mind, Vogel reached a final conclusion. Martini was exceptionally clever. He had known that Mattia had a crush on Anna and had used Mattia's camera recordings to his advantage. Martini had strategically placed himself in Mattia's footage, ensuring his vehicle was always captured near Anna, thereby planting the seeds of suspicion. More than that, Vogel theorized that Martini had deliberately fabricated the entire Fogman narrative, taking advantage of a decades-old legend to divert attention away from himself. But beneath it all, Martini had his own agenda, one that Vogel had failed to uncover in time. On December 23rd, Anna hurried to her church gathering, unaware that Martini was already waiting outside her house, pretending to search for a lost cat. Martini knew that Anna would be drawn in by a cat, and sure enough, when he asked her if she had seen an orange cat, she hesitated before saying yes. The moment Anna agreed to help look for it, there were no screams, because Martini had already managed to drug her. After sedating Anna, Martini transported her to a room at the Grand Hotel. Anna briefly regained consciousness, but everything changed due to Martini's next actions. Ultimately, Martini was the mastermind behind Anna's disappearance. He had played his game flawlessly, even ensuring that he was arrested and imprisoned on purpose. His true goal? The hefty compensation money. This had already been hinted at when he told his students in class, "Crime is not always driven by revenge. Sometimes it's about money." Once proven innocent, Martini knew that the public would no longer suspect him. After all, he had been accused and then acquitted. Then he opened Anna's bag and discovered the hidden diary. That diary became his next tool to lure Vogel into the game. Inside Anna's diary, Martini had planted a photo of the location where the cassette tape was hidden, but he also knew exactly who to send the package to, the only person considered crazy for believing in the Fogman, Beatrice. After sending the package, Martini discarded Anna's bag and prepared his next move. His final trick was orchestrated after his release, intentionally carving the O initial on his wrist to provoke Vogel. As Vogel pieced together the truth, Flores suddenly called the police to enter the room. Overcome with rage and disgust, Vogel finally snapped. He killed Martini. This act sealed his fate, leading to Vogel's arrest. As dawn approached, Flores returned home, a large yet lonely house where he lived alone. He went into his storage room and unlocked a box he had kept hidden for years. Inside that box were 6 strands of red hair. It was then revealed Flores was the true mastermind behind all 6 disappearances. Each fish displayed in his office symbolized one of the 6 girls he had taken. But this time, during his final catch, Flores could no longer act directly due to his declining health and age. Instead, he paid Martini to carry it out. That was why Flores had once admitted his last fishing attempt had not gone smoothly, because his 6th fish, Anna, was caught by Martini. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.